The United States men's national team just pulled off something they haven't done in 24 years. They won a knockout stage match at the FIFA World Cup, 2-1 over Paraguay. The celebration lasted about 15 minutes because by the time the final whistle blew, everyone knew what was coming. Folarin Balogun, the tournament's leading scorer for the United States, the guy who's been absolutely carrying this team through the group stage and into the knockouts, won't be playing Monday against Belgium. He's suspended, red card, gone. And FIFA made it official this morning. There is no appeal process at this World Cup. The card stands. Let's break down exactly what happened, why this is historically significant, and what it means for the biggest match the U.S. has played in over 2 decades. The match itself was tense from the kickoff. Paraguay came to defend, sitting deep, making it ugly. The U.S. finally broke through in the 53rd minute when Christian Pulisic whipped in a cross and Balogun got on the end of it. His 5th goal of the tournament. The relief was massive. 10 minutes later, Yunus Musa doubled the lead with a screamer from outside the box, and it looked like the U.S. was cruising into the round of 16. Then the 78th minute happened. Paraguay pulled one back through a corner kick scramble, and suddenly it's 2-1 with 12 minutes plus stoppage time to survive. The game got frantic. Paraguay pushed forward desperately, and Balogun, tracking back to help defend, made a challenge near midfield that the referee deemed reckless. Second yellow card, automatic red. He was done. The U.S. had to see out the final stretch with 10 men, and they did, but the cost became immediately apparent. This isn't just losing a good player for one match. Balogun has been the difference maker for this entire tournament. 5 goals through 4 matches. He's been clinical when the U.S. needed goals most. The depth chart behind him is concerning at best. You've got Ricardo Pepi, who hasn't scored in his last 8 appearances for the national team. You've got Haji Wright, who's been out of form. And then you've got the possibility of moving Pulisic central and reshuffling the entire attacking setup 48 hours before facing Belgium, one of the tournament favorites. Belgium just shut out Brazil in their round of 16 match. Their defense, anchored by veterans who've been here before, looked impenetrable. They've got pace on the counter with Doku and Lukabaku. They've got Kevin De Bruyne pulling strings in midfield. This was already going to be the toughest test the United States has faced. Now they're doing it without their most dangerous attacker. American fans and media are absolutely furious. Social media has been ablaze since the final whistle. The consensus is that the second yellow was soft, maybe even unwarranted, and that losing Balogun for this match is a disproportionate punishment for what happened. But FIFA's rules are clear. 2 yellow cards equal a red. A red card in the knockout stage means suspension for the next match. And this morning, FIFA released a statement confirming there is no appeal mechanism at this World Cup for yellow card accumulations or straight red cards deemed within the referee's judgment. The decision is final. Now, here's where this gets historically interesting. Folarin Balogun just became only the 4th player in World Cup history to score a goal and receive a red card in the same knockout stage match. The list is incredibly short. The most famous, Zinedine Zidane in the 2006 World Cup final. Zidane scored in that match, then headbutted Marco Materazzi in extra time and was sent off. France lost on penalties. Zidane's career ended in infamy and triumph simultaneously. Before that, you've got Rigobert, Song of Cameroon in 1994, and then you have to go all the way back to the early decades of the tournament to find the others. It's rare, it's dramatic, and it always becomes a defining moment of that team's World Cup story. The question now is whether Balogun's red card will be remembered as a costly mistake that ended the U.S. run, or just a footnote if the team somehow finds a way past Belgium without him. The international reaction has been mixed. European media outlets are framing this as a lack of discipline from a young, inexperienced U.S. squad that's overachieved to get this far. The narrative is that the moment got too big, and Balogun cracked under pressure. South American outlets are less sympathetic, with some Paraguayan journalists calling it justice after what they deemed an overly physical U.S. approach throughout the match. In the United States, the reaction is somewhere between devastation and defiance. Fans are rallying around the idea that this team has already exceeded expectations just by winning a knockout match, and that facing Belgium without Balogun is a chance to prove the squad has depth and resilience. But realistically, the odds just shifted dramatically. Belgium opened as favorites for Monday's match. Now the betting markets have moved even further in their direction. Head coach Greg Berhalter addressed the media this afternoon and tried to stay positive. He praised Balogun's contributions, said the team would adapt, and mentioned that they've prepared for scenarios like this. But you could see the frustration. This was a winnable match with Balogun. Without him, it's an uphill battle against one of the best defensive units left in the tournament. So what happens Monday? The U.S. has two realistic options. One, they start Ricardo Pepi up top and hope he rediscovers the form that got him called up to the squad in the first place. He's got the physical tools, but confidence is everything at this level, and his hasn't been there recently. Two, they move Pulisic into a central role as a false nine, bring in Gio Reyna or Brendan Aronson on the wing, and try to create chances through movement and interplay rather than a traditional striker. It's riskier, but it might be the best way to maximize the talent that's available. Defensively, the U.S. has been solid, but they haven't faced an attack like Belgium's yet. If De Bruyne gets time on the ball, if Doku gets isolated one-on-one against Serginho Dest, this could get ugly fast. The game plan will have to be disciplined, compact, and opportunistic. Sit deeper than they'd like, absorb pressure, and hope for a moment of brilliance on the counter or from a set piece. The Balogun suspension has completely changed the narrative heading into Monday. What should have been a confident, optimistic U.S. squad riding the high of their first knockout win in decades is now a team scrambling to adjust, dealing with controversy, and facing questions about discipline and depth. The world is watching to see if the United States can pull off an upset without their best player, or if this red card will be the moment that defines and ends their World Cup run. Monday's match kicks off at 3 p.m. Eastern. Belgium versus the United States, round of 16, everything on the line, and Folarin Balogun will be watching